Happy Halloween Eve, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Good evening, everyone. Can I get a hi, Yena, in the chat? Yeah, I had this one up just because it was the one that was winning initially when the poll went up, but it seems like the tides have changed and now we are going with 049 instead. I've heard this one is good though, so if we have time, we can do another one. 1762 is a long story. I don't know which one 049 is, but that one is the one that has the highest right now. Is that Infinite IKEA? Hope you're feeling okay? I could be better. But I always enjoy streaming, so I'm excited to be here. Excited to do some SCPs. I've actually never looked into SCPs before. Cersei was in call with me yesterday and she was like vetting all the SCPs that the Discord gave me. And she was like, what the fuck, you guys? Give her the creepy ones. Why are you guys giving her the meme ones? Oh, it's Plague Doctor. 049's Plague Doctor. I got it. Yeah, I've never touched SCPs before. I've just like never, I don't know, I've never gotten into them. I've heard they were like a little spooky. So it was something I was always a little bit afraid to get into. I'm a little bit of a weenie. So I thought it was apt for Halloween just because, you know, spooky season and all. I've heard that not all SCPs are spooky, yeah. I heard that there's some like really funny like meme ones. Congrats on getting monetized. Thank you. Warrior of the Gods. Thank you for the member. Appreciate it. Also, thank you for the supas and pre-stream chat. Appreciate it. Are you familiar with the concept of SCP? Yes, I am familiar with the concept of SCP. I understand that it's sort of like an organization that like contains irregularities in the world. Whatever that may be. It could be harmful. It could be harmless. But I've done a little bit of digging, and like Cersei also told me a little bit about it, about how it's like almost like a world building thing where anyone can add an entry in or something like that. Abby, thank you so much for the super. Happy Halloween, thank you. Happy Halloween to you too. If you guys are in the future, happy Halloween to you. Am I doing Halloween? No. God, no. I'm way too old for that shit. If I go knocking on people's doors asking for candy, it's gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, I heard it's a community project effectively. Yeah, which I think is really cool. Like there's this whole like world building aspect attached to it, you know what I mean? So Halloween has sadly died down in years. Yeah, actually, last year I got like, this is the first year that I've been like in my own place, for the better of like the past entirety of my life, basically. And last year, like I got a bunch of candy from Costco and I like set up outside my apartment and everything and no one came. Nobody showed up and I was like, damn, okay, fuck, man. So this year, I'm not even trying. This year, I'm just buying the discounted Halloween candy after Halloween's over. Yeah, I think it's just because, like, I don't know. It feels like Halloween just isn't a big activity to do anymore for, like, the youngins. And I get it, man. I mean, like, I feel like back then, neighbors actually talked to each other. And nowadays, it's a lot more isolated. Trunk or treat? Wait, what's trunk or treat? I've never heard of that. Oh, is it like a you go to like a parking lot with a bunch of other families and then like you do trick-or-treating like that? I think I've heard of that happening before. Never been to one myself. Ah, I see. Yeah. It does suck, but I guess it is technically safer. I mean, like, I've definitely had times when I was younger where I look back on like my trick-or-treating experiences and I'm like, damn, what the fuck was she thinking? There's this one neighborhood that was really popular back when I was little. And this neighborhood was like richer. It was on like the other side of like the county divide basically, and it was the richer county. And this neighborhood was known for giving out like full-size candy bars. They were known for giving out like the actual like, you know, candy other than like the actual like mini-sized ones. And so we went there and there was this one house that had a whole ass bridge leading into it. Like it was like almost like a moat style. I don't know how to describe it. It was like the house was in the middle of like this like almost like dug out trench area, and there was a bridge leading to it. Yeah, it looked fucking spooky as hell. Like the lights were off and there was like Halloween decorations outside, but they were really creepy Halloween decorations, and like there were no lights, you know, like, and you know, back then there was like no policy. Like now it's like, you know, porch light on, you go approach, you know, like if the porch light is on, that means they're participating. If they're off, then, you know, you just steer away and you don't go to the house, right? But like back then there were no policies around that. So we just went. we just went. And we walked to the house, we knocked, and no one answered. No one answered. I mean, to be expected, right? Because the lights were off. But it was like a very creepy experience that we were like, damn, we didn't even get any candy out of this, you know? Crazy people come out in Halloween nowadays. Yeah, I mean, I heard that like apparently it's the second most dangerous holiday for like law enforcement now. The first most dangerous is apparently still Valentine's Day, which is crazy to me, but I get it. That's understandable to an extent. You may have encountered an SCP. Oh my god. Maybe the house of the SCP comes out on Halloween only. Yeah, apparently Valentine's Day is the most dangerous holiday. Apparently it's the holiday where the most like felonies get committed. I can see it because, you know, like people may cheat, people may like reject others, and maybe sometimes, you know, partners won't do stuff for their significant others and they might get angry, you know. I think there's a lot of reasoning for it. I get it. Do I celebrate Christmas? Not really. I mean, I've never celebrated when I was growing up. When I got to college, I did do like a little bit of like a friend Christmas get-together thing, but I've never really celebrated with family. I love gifts though. I mean, who doesn't love gifts? Come on. Is Rob an SCP? Oh, definitely, dude. That guy was an enigma. He was somehow living in New York and not paying rent. That's crazy. There's some fan-made SCP fan films on YouTube that are great. SCP Overlord. I don't know if we're gonna be allowed to react to like fan-made stuff. I think we have to get permission for it if we want to react to it on stream. But I might check it out in my free time because I do enjoy like the concept of like a group writing activity basically. Who is Rob? Oh god. This is some like Discord lore. Oh, Serge, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. Appreciate it, Serge. Thank you. Wait, no, guys. Wait, no. Wait, is this in response to me saying I like gifts? I meant... I didn't mean... Cypher, thank you so much for the 5 gifted as well. Oh, God. Never got to experience non-restricted Halloweens. In my opinion, sounds more fun, so anyone who got to it was lucky from my point of view. I mean, it was. I won't lie. Like, I did thoroughly enjoy Halloweens. It was a unbridled time to just like run around and do whatever the fuck you wanted, man. I mean, it was like the one night I think that parents were okay with kids being out late, you know, because there were also so many kids out late. Yeah, most of my Halloweens actually, I didn't even go with my parents. I just like, they were just like, all right, roam free, and I was like, all right, cool. chill. Peace. If you guys got a gifted sub from either Cypher or Surge, please make sure to thank them. Make sure to thank your membership dad, your your membership parent, your membership the kind person who gave you the membership. I can't find your Discord. You said it's on your Tumblr. I can't find it. It's literally on the sidebar. You have to go to the actual Tumblr page, the one with the CSS coding. The Memby plug, the member daddies, the Yeen father. Yeen father is pretty good. We're dancing around the term sugar daddy. I mean, if you want to call them your sugar daddy, that's fine too. I was trying to be a bit discreet, but you know, like if you want to go full out, I'm not my circus. Can you post a link? If there's a mod in here, they can post a link for it. I actually don't know what the actual Discord link is. It's just the official Idol Discord. All SCP content is produced under Creative Commons SA3, meaning you don't need anyone's permission to play or watch SCP stuff, fan-made or otherwise. Oh, really? Oh, I had no idea. I knew that the writings were under Creative Commons, but I didn't realize the actual video work and the fan-made stuff on different medias were also under Creative Commons. Oh, thank you, Shining. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. This SCP is Pain. We're actually not reading this one. It did not win. It seems that 049 has been the one that's been the most requested. But I have heard like amazing things about this previous one. Like everyone on the Discord has been incredibly flashbang, sorry. Everyone on the Discord has been incredibly like into that particular one. Oh, sorry. Let me move the text so it fits in the frame. All right. We can do this one. If we have time, we can do 1762. How about that? Let me end the poll. Because someone in the Discord actually raised a good point of like, because these popular ones are probably the ones that people know more, they might be more inclined to vote for that ones. But like, I've heard so many rave reviews about, what was it? Here Be Dragons, that I'm really curious now. I've heard it's like, it's a very good story. All right. We're gonna get into the mood. There may be some usage of special effects, so if you guys hear those special effects, just as a heads up, if it's very distracting, let me know, because I actually can't hear how I sound with those special effects. So, shall we begin, guys? Item number SCP-049. Object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. SCP-049 is contained within a standard secure humanoid containment cell in Research Sector 02 at Site 19. SCP-049 must be sedated before any attempts to transport it. During transport, SCP-049 must be secured within a Class 3 humanoid restriction harness, including a locking collar and extension restraints, and monitored by no fewer than 2 armed guards. While SCP-049 is generally cooperative with most Foundation personnel, outbursts or sudden changes in behavior are meant to be met with elevated force. I can't fucking read. Under no circumstances should any personnel come in direct contact with SCP-049 during these outbursts. In the event SCP-049 becomes aggressive, the application of lavender has been shown to produce a calming effect on its entity. Once calmed, SCP-049 generally becomes compliant, and return to containment with little resistance. In order to facilitate the ongoing containment of SCP-049, The entity is to be provided with the corpse of a recently deceased animal. Oh, typically a bovine or other large mammal. Once every 2 weeks for study. Interesting. Corpses that become instances of SCP-0492 are to be removed from SCP-049's containment cell and incinerated. Does he like bring them back to life? Ooh. SCP-049 is no longer permitted to interact with human subjects, and requests for human subjects are to be denied. He's a zombie maker. Interesting. Temporary Containment Procedure Update. Per Containment Committee Order 049-S19-171. SCP-049 is no longer permitted to interact directly with any members of the Foundation staff, nor is it to be provided with any additional corpses to be used in its surgeries. This order shall persist indefinitely until such time a consensus regarding the ongoing containment of SCP-049 can be reached. Interesting. I wonder what happened. Addendum 043. Guys, as a question, is it typical that we jump around with these things, or do we just read the whole thing and eventually we get to the addendum? Because I want to know what the addendum is. I'm curious. It can jump? I see. Oh, you can do it however you want. Okay, got it. Let's see. Ooh, incident. Addendum 049.3. 0416, 2017 incident. Starting shortly after SCP-049's initial containment, Dr. Ham conducted a number of interviews with the subject regarding its anomalous properties, and over time began to note its displeasure with its subjects and the SCP-049 2 instances. This continued for a period of several months, during which SCP-049 never exhibited any aggressive behaviors. On April 16, 2017, as Dr. Ham was entering SCP-049's test chamber to conduct another routine interview, the entity began to grow anxious and asked Dr. Ham if he was feeling well. Following protocol, Dr. Ham reminded SCP-049 that the interview was required, after which the entity became hostile and attacked Dr. Ham, killing him. Due to a lapse in security protocol, and because Dr. Ham did not activate the in-chamber emergency system, Dr. Ham's corpse was not discovered until 3 hours later, by which point SCP-049 had converted it into an instance of SCP-0492. Ooh. After the aftermath of this incident, SCP-049 was interviewed by Dr. Theron Sherman. Oh, there's an audio too. Oh, this is interesting. Hold on, if there's an audio, I'm gonna have to change some settings. Give me 1 second. I didn't realize there was gonna be audio. Alright.
I need you to explain yourself. SCP-049, you are being directed to explain your actions, and I will remind you that failure to cooperate will result in further restrictions during your containment.
Wow.
My actions do not need to be explained.
Oh, he sounds a little
killed Raymond Ham.
Sorry.
Butchered him until he...
Not dead. No, not dead. He is cured.
Smash.
Cured? Cured of what?
Pestilence, sir. I thought you, at least, would realize what luck it is. I detected it before.
He sounds like a gentleman.
You keep going on and on about this pestilence, but you have not once been able to properly identify this disease. What could you have possibly seen in him today that you had not seen so many times before? That it would be worth his life?
The pestilence presents and progresses in unforeseeable fashions, and has a queer way of creeping into the unprepared. And call it what you want, Doctor. It was a mercy I did to him. He is cured.
He is a vegetable.
Huh.
I would not expect you to understand.
I wonder if he had like
Your
cancer or something.
milk have proven time and time again not to be men of science, but men of emotion. You cannot appreciate the horrors I have seen. those many millions who have succumbed to the pestilence and been changed.
Your cure cost Ray his life.
No, good sir, I have saved it.
This voice acting's
You would allow this
amazing.
world to slip back into the despair of disease and death, ignoring that I have
Is the
created
pestilence
a
just like
miracle. And
What
the
disease?
inevitability of
What
death?
pestilence? He was a healthy man. He was a good doctor.
I'm offering it freely to the afflicted. You are not
Ah,
worth this
I see.
argument, sir.
Yeah, the pestilence sounds just like mortality in this case, especially if SCP-049 is immortal.
I cured him. I am the only one who can do this. My work must continue. There is still so much to learn, so much.
I've had enough of this.
And others
Consider your allowances
can be
revoked.
saved. Even you.
Welcome to containment, 049.
Might be saved.
We're done here.
I can save them all. I can cast down this plague once and for all. I can do this. Only me. I saved him. I saved him. Dr. Ham. I cured him.
Guys,
He was sick. I know he was
guys,
sick.
you're not
I
gonna
know he
believe me
was.
when I say this, but I can fix him.
You are all sick, but
I can fix him.
save you. I can save all of you because I am the cure.
Yeah, see, he thinks he can fix me. And I think I can fix him. We're perfect for each other. Baron, thank you so much for the memo. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Alright, description. SCP-049 is a humanoid entity, roughly 1.9 meters in height, which bears the appearance of the medieval plague doctor. While SCP-049 appears to be wearing a thick robe with a ceramic mask indicative of that profession, the garments instead seem to have grown out of SCP's body over time. Oh! Whoa! That's kind of freaky. This is a great X-ray also. Like, this art is amazing. And are now nearly indistinguishable from whatever form is beneath them. X-rays indicate that despite this, SCP-049 does have a humanoid skeletal structure beneath its outer layer. Fruit Loop Parrot is crazy. I can think of some ways to use that is insane. You guys are the freaks, not me, bro. I just said I thought his voice was sexy. I can find some ways to use that is crazy. Don't turn this on us. I'm not. I'm just reading chat, man. Damn. I'm not inciting the freak, you guys are. SCP-049 is capable of speech in a variety of languages, though tends to prefer English or medieval French. Oh no, not the French. While SCP-049 is generally cordial and cooperative with Foundation staff, it can become especially irritated or at times outright aggressive if it feels like it is in the presence of what it calls the pestilence. Although the exact nature of this pestilence is currently unknown to the Foundation researchers, it does seem to be an issue of immense concern to SCP-049. SCP-049 will become hostile with individuals it sees as it's being affected by the pestilence, often having to be restrained should it encounter such. If left unchecked, SCP-049 will generally attempt to kill any such individual. SCP-049 is capable of causing all biological functions of an organism to cease through direct skin contact. Oh my god. Man's like a actual death himself. How this occurs is currently unknown, and the autopsies of SCP-049's victims have invariably been inconclusive. SCP-049 has expressed frustration or remorse after these killings, indicating that they have done little to kill the pestilence. though will usually seek to then perform a crude surgery on the corpse using implements contained within the Black Doctor's bag it carries on its person at all times. Ooh, there's footnotes. Oh, I didn't realize there were footnotes. The robes and gloves are identical to a thick hide built up on the skin, while the mask is composed of a kind of chitin growing out of the bones of the face. This entity claims to have originated in 15th century France, though admits that it's particularly well traveled. Is that when the Black Plague happened, I'm guessing? Chitin. Thank you guys. The space within this bag is seemingly enormously large, as SCP has been observed pulling objects larger than the bag itself from within it in order to operate on deceased subjects. Interesting. 15th century was a bit later. Oh, really? Chitin's the stuff that bug shells are made out of. Interesting. Is he bug? He's got a bag of holding? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. While these surgeries are not always successful, they often result in the creation of instances of SCP-0492. SCP-0492 instances are reanimated corpses that have been operated on by SCP-049. These instances do not seem to retain any of their prior memories or mental functions, only having very basic motor skills and response mechanisms. While these instances are generally inactive, moving very little and in generally ambulatory fashion, they become extremely aggressive if provoked or directed to by SCP-049. Dude, this guy could make an army. He casted Animate Dead! SCP-0492 instances express active biological functions, though these are vastly different from current understood human physiology. Despite these alterations, SCP-049 often remarks that the subjects have been cured. Addendum. Discovery. I'm guessing this is the actual discovery, yeah. SCP-049 was discovered during the investigation of a series of unknown disappearances in a town of Montauban, somewhere in France. During a raid on a local home, investigators found several instances of SCP-0492 as well as SCP-049. While law enforcement personnel engaged in hostile S-0492 instances, SCP-049 was noted as watching the engagement and taking notes in its journal. After all of 0492 instances were dispatched, SCP-049 willingly entered Foundation custody. The following interview was conducted by Dr. Raymond Ham during the initial investigation, who is now dead.
Alors, comment devrions-nous commencer une introduction?
Is that French? Can we get a translator?
Not the French.
English. No need for translation, sir. I can speak it well enough.
Good. My name is Dr. Raymond Ham, and I...
A doctor. A like-minded individual, no doubt. Wherein is your speciality, sir?
Cryptobiology. Why?
Cryptobiology?
Such as myself. Wonders abound. And here, I worried I had been abducted by common street thugs. This place, then, this is your laboratory. I had wondered, as clean as it is, and with such little trace of the pestilence here.
Pestilence? What do you mean?
The scourge.
Interesting.
Come now. You know what is it they call it? No matter. The pestilence, yes. It abounds outside these walls, you know. So many have succumbed, and many more will continue to, until such time as a perfect cure.
There's a very interesting thing he said of, I had wondered, as clean as it is and with such little trace of pestilence here. I wonder if if SCP-049 is the pestilence, it's like wherever he goes, the pestilence appears type deal. And that's why he's saying he is the cure. Because he's the only one who can get rid of himself, technically.
Cure can be developed.
Yeah, so it's an endless struggle. Yeah, exactly.
Fortunately, I am very close. It is my duty in life to rid the world of it, you see. The cure to end all cures.
When you say the Great Dying, are you talking about the bubonic plague?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, he doesn't know what it is. Interesting.
The entities our agents encountered at the house. They were dead when you encountered them. Yes, you reanimated them.
In a manner of speaking, you see things too simply, Doctor. Expand your horizons. Life and death, sickness and health. These are amateur terms for amateur physicians. There is only one ailment
Actually, it's
that exists in the
amateur.
world of men, and that
I'm sure
is the
that's like the
pestilence
European pronunciation or
and
something.
nothing else.
Amateur.
Make no mistake, they were very ill. All of them.
You think you cured those people?
Indeed. My cure is most effective.
But the things we recovered were not human.
Yes, well, it is not a perfect cure, but that will come with time and further experimentation. I have spent a lifetime developing my methods, Dr. Ham, and will spend a lifetime more if necessary. Now, we have wasted too much time. There is work to do.
The voice acting on this is
I will require
spectacular,
a laboratory
dude.
of my own,
I'm so
where I
immersed.
can continue my research unimpeded. And assistance, of course, though I can provide those on my own. In time.
Oh, I don't think our organization would be willing to...
Nonsense. We are all men of science. Fetch your coat and show me to my quarters, Doctor. Our work begins now.
Interesting. That one line about him saying, and with such little trace of the pestilence here is very interesting. So it's like when he was first captured, there wasn't a lot of trace of pestilence. But somehow, the more time he spent in this area, Dr. Ham started having the pestilence or showing signs of it. It's by the Volgun on YT. He does full voiceovers of SCPs. Oh. Yeah, his voice is really smooth and buttery. Yeah, I totally agree. It sounds really nice. Like I would want it. I would want him to read me an audiobook. Interviewer's note. While SCP-049 is capable of communicating in a very human way, there's a strange sense of unease that one experiences in its presence. Make no mistake, there is something very uncanny about this entity indeed. Additionally, we've confiscated the point stick that SCP keeps waving around. Part of this was due to the non-standard confiscation, to the standard confiscation protocols of the possession of anomalies. In part because 049 really is a menace swinging around like he, wow. Sorry. He's swinging around like he does. Wow. Swinging his his large pointed stick around. I see. Sorry, I'm so immersion, back into the immersion. The entity was displeased at first, but after we made some concessions in providing it with test subjects, which are admittedly more for the benefit of our own research, it warmed up to the idea. Addendum. Observation log. While in containment at Site-19, SCP-049 had spent a considerable amount of time studying and performing surgery on the various mammalian corpses it had been provided. SCP-049 will routinely spend several days performing surgery, and then regardless or not the corpse had become an instance of SCP-049-2. spending several more days documenting its findings in a thick leather journal stored within the doctor's bag. 049 will often seek to share its findings with members of Foundation staff. The following is a log of several occasions during which SCP-049 was observed operating on a mammalian corpse. Observation log 049-OL1 summary. A test subject, D85123, was introduced into SCP-049's containment cell. The entity expressed sincere gratitude towards all members of the containment and research staff. SCP-049 began by asking, wait, what? Is D85123 a human? Oh, they're people? Oh. Oh. Oh, I didn't know they were like that. Oh. Oh, death row. I see. Oh, the D stands for death row, I'm guessing. I see. Fully mind wiped. Oh god, Jesus. That does not sound great. I would not want to be the D. Sorry. SCP-049 began by asking the prisoner, we'll just call him the prisoner, several standard medical questions as it began removing tools from its bag. Shortly after finishing its preparations, 049 quickly closed the distance between the two, killing the subject with a touch of its throat. Afterwards, 049 made a number of considerable alterations to the basic structure of the subject's corpse, often introducing fluids from within its bag into the subject by way of hand-powered pump and copper tubing. The resulting 049 instance became animated, flailing and grasping at the walls of the chamber with a number of manufactured limbs while moaning out an oblong orifice now presented in its sternum. Ooh. Jeez. During this time, 049 was observed taking notes of the instance in its journal and remarking to the watching research staff about the efficacy of its curse. Is this supposed to be efficiency? Because efficacy has to do with ethics, right? Or is that just a different word for efficient? Security personnel entered the chamber to move SCP-049 back to containment. We were attacked by the instance. Oh, efficacy is effectiveness. Sorry, ESL moment. The security team dispatched the 049 to instance, and SCP-049 returned to containment with no resistance, stating that it was pleased with its results. Observation log 049-LL2 summary. 049 was provided the corpse of a recently deceased goat. 049 expressed gratitude at the provision. 049 operated on the goat's corpse for several days, eventually resulting in the instance of SCP-049-2. SCP-049 expressed pleasure in the outcome, though admittedly, the disease was still in its nascent? Nascent? What? How do you pronounce this word? Nascent? Nascent. Oh, nascent. What does that mean, chat? This word is not in my vocabulary. Oh, young stage. Ah, that makes sense. My veterinarian practice is rudimentary, but the patient responded well to the procedure. Observation log 3. 049 was provided the corpse of a recently deceased orangutan. 049 expressed noted gratitude at the revision due to the similarities between orangutans and common human physiology. 049 spent several days operating on the orangutan, reanimating it several times. However, 049 seemed to be discontent with the results it experienced, returning to the creature 3 times after its initial reanimation for additional work. After it was unable to reanimate the corpse a 5th time, 049 turned the corpse over to the Foundation staff for incineration, stating, "I have learned so much from this, though I fear my early optimism was misplaced." I had yet come across such a stumbling block on my road to the cure. More subjects like this would be a great deal in advancing my research. Oh, hi, Poco. How you guys doing? Hi. How's Poco doing? 682. I'm just getting into SCPs. I've actually never touched these before, so I will check it out if I have time. We have quite a long list of recommendations. But thank you for the rec. Appreciate it. Yeah, these are very interesting though. I'm enjoying it. I mean, I haven't read any other ones yet. This is still my first one. We might do these for like maybe member streams or something like that. These are pretty chill, and I really enjoy these. The stories are very immersive. You'll have to play Containment Breach someday now. Is that a horror game? I'm not good with horror games, guys. I'm not good with horror games. They're scary. It's not that scary. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm a little bit of a weenie. SCP-049 spent several days operating on a bovine corpse, breaking only to dine on the requested dinner of thin crackers, salted pork, and hard cheese. Hold on, what is this? SCP-049 had stated its desire to work on human subjects several times between this occasion and an earlier provision of the orangutan, noting its discontentness when they would not be provided. What are my thoughts so far on the SCP universe? I mean, I think it's really cool. I'm a big fan of storytelling. I'm a big fan of story writing and narrative-driven media. So I think like the fact that this is all like almost community sourced is really, really cool. It's like a alternate universe that you can just build upon. 049 has expressed that it does not require sustenance, but enjoys it and feels that food helps put it in the right mind to operate. Out of all of the foods, you're gonna get thin crackers, salted pork, and hard cheese? At least get some soft cheese, man. Beginning by first embalming the corpse, 049 was observed producing a number of long syringes from its bag, each containing a different dark, viscous fluid. 049 described these fluids as the essence of humors, and elaborated by saying the pestilence may bring about a systemic imbalance. In such a case, before true healing can begin, one must find the humors in balance or body will reject the cure. Interesting. That's actually, it's kind of similar to how Eastern medicine is practiced. It's very much so about making sure all of your energies are balanced. Like you can't have too much hot energy, you can't have too much cold energy. Over the next few days, 049 spent a considerable amount of time adjusting the organs of the bovine corpse with a number of large metal instruments. After 8 days, 049 produced a lightning rod, which Dr. Ham exchanged for the electric cattle prod. What? Dr. Ham exchanged for an electric cattle prod attached to an extension cord and struck the corpse in several locations. This action seemingly had the effect of reanimating the bovine, which once again became ambulatory, despite the inversion of its head and reorientation of its limbs. Ooh, Jesus. Humors is actually a thing based on historical understanding of the body at the time, which is very flawed. Is that the thing where like they would do free bleeding? Or is that something else? I think free bleeding is for periods, actually. Where the thing is like, no, bloodletting. That's what it's called, bloodletting. Where they would like force you to lose blood. Yeah, bloodletting. That's what I was thinking about. Sanguine humors. Interesting. I didn't know about this. Free bleeding. Don't look at me, okay? Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me, alright? Stop. It's basically the same thing. Free bleeding, bloodletting. Alright, let's listen to this follow-up interview.
We've watched you work for for several weeks now, and honestly, I'm not sure I understand what you're doing. Could you describe your process in detail?
Oh, goodness no. The process is most intensive. As I said to your assistant, the best instruction you will find about my methods are here, in my journals, as I have kept exhaustive records of my work there.
I see. Well, my concern,
This is the most
Doctor,
annoying guy to
that
work
we
with in the
still
group
don't understand
project.
what you're seeking to cure, or how it manifests, or how turning these creatures into quasi-living.
You ask him a
mindless
question and he's
drones
like,
helps in that
look at my
effort.
notes.
Do you not understand the pestilence, even after all this time? Doctor, it is an unspeakable horror, one that has shown its true face many times before, and will again. I find myself blessed with the wisdom and good senses needed to root it out and destroy it. But many, like yourself, cannot. It is a cruel judgment, I fear, to be at the mercy of a disease you cannot fully comprehend.
That still doesn't answer
This
my
guy is the
question.
embodiment of
Would you cure
actually.
any kind of cure at all?
It is a cure. You may laugh
Sorry.
at my efforts
He's like,
if you
actually,
please,
it is a
but do not
core.
besmirch
It
the
is a
birthday
core.
of scientific progress that has developed this great mercy. What you short-sightedly see here is a life better than any this creature could have hoped for. Stricken as it was with the pestilence, this creature is now clean, unable to spread the pestilence, and
Unable to
free
spread
from
the
terror it would have
pestilence
experienced otherwise.
This is hardly
is
a
very
creature
interesting.
at all, Doctor. It's not even.
Do not jape with me, sir. You and your colleagues are like so many others, unable to look past minor setbacks to see the salvation taking place before your very eyes. Do you wait to remove rotten timbers until the whole collapses on top of you? No. You find them and you pull them out and replace them with those untouched by rot. And most of all, you do not simply mock the structure because it now looks different to you.
Actually, what this guy, that's a terrible analogy, sorry. What this guy's doing is getting rid of the whole thing. I guess he doesn't understand the concept of human life. He doesn't understand that he doesn't understand that life is a thing, I guess. So in his eyes, he's just changing the appearance of what once was.
It is strong. It is free of disease.
I'm sorry. Didn't mean to agitate you. I'm just trying to understand.
Yes. Well, do mind your words in the future, Doctor. I am a professional, but even professionals may feel the bite of pride in dealing with criticism of their masterpiece.
Guys, I have a theory, actually. Sorry, this is real random. What if the pestilence is like human emotion or something like that? Like happiness or something of that sort. Because it's very clear that he doesn't seem to feel like, I guess for lack of better words, like dopamine or serotonin effects. Like, even when he has good research or when he is able to like come to a breakthrough, it's not like he's happy, you know? So instead of like the idea of mortality being the thing that he's trying to kill human emotion. Consciousness? Maybe. But I wonder if it's because like he also mentioned in another interview, I forgot where it was, but that there is very little pestilence here. And I wonder if that was because I'm guessing a lot of SCP Foundation personnel, like the staff and whatnot, probably see a lot of shit on a day-to-day basis, right? And I wonder if like they possibly, you know, like have a more stunted human emotion or happiness emotion than other people because of that. And maybe on the day that he killed Dr. Ham, maybe something good happened to him. Maybe like it was his daughter's birthday or something like that. I don't know. I'm just theorizing here, but like maybe that's why he saw the pestilence in him. SCP-049 has emotions though, but they're not happy. They're not happy emotions. Like I said this earlier, but even like when he comes through a breakthrough, it's not like it doesn't seem like he has like a dopamine or serotonin response. It's not like he's, rewarding himself or anything like that. I don't know, but proud isn't the same as happy. It's like if I were to be like, I hit a milestone on YouTube, and I was like, good work, Yena Youngblood. That's not happiness, man. That's not excitement, Interesting. Let's keep reading. Oh no, we didn't finish the interview.
I will forgive this as an act of good faith between colleagues.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that will be all. Another test subject on the usual schedule. You know my preference of subjects with more human anatomies.
Attending research notes, 049 does seem to genuinely want to help other humans, though it has not yet been able to provide a concrete example of what exactly it's trying to save us all from. I have watched it over now several times, over several weeks. And while the outcomes do not seem to ever change, 049 continues to claim that it's growing closer to its perfect cure. I think the entity may be more aware of the reality of these outcomes than it would like us to think. And this is the incident that happened where Dr. Ham died. We already saw this one. Let's see. Post-incident report interview. Following the interviews is an excerpt from the 4/16/17/049 incident report. The interview was conducted by Elijah Itkin and took place over 3 weeks after the start of the initial investigations.
SCP-049, we are conducting this interview to close out our investigation of your actions taken on April 16th that resulted in the death of a staff member. Do you have any comments to make? Only that I look forward to the day when you will allow me to resume my work. I have spent the last few weeks compiling my notes and constructing a new theory for how the pestilence was able to infect someone in such an insidious manner that I nearly couldn't detect it. Have you experienced any remorse for your actions? For the death of Dr. Ham? Ah, yes. Well, the death of a colleague is always regrettable. But in the face of the pestilence, we must be swift, Doctor.
Insidious manner.
Without hesitation. Dr. Sherman noted in his report that you seemed to be mournful during your initial interview. Mourn? Perhaps. I had not thought that. It is lamentable that a fellow doctor became infected, but the work continues. Regrettable as it was, Dr. Ham's death provided important insight. Living human subjects are the only way to proceed forward, I have decided. My cure is of little use on dead flesh, and I have gleaned all I can from your generous supply of corpses. My desires turn towards tending to those still living who suffer from the disease. I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed. Oh, Doctor. I wouldn't be so sure.
Interesting. I think I was actually looking at something else. I was looking at this. My cure is of little use on dead flesh. Meaning, to 049, he doesn't seem to be thinking that he's actually killing anyone. Because all the previous documentation has said that when he touches someone, it kills them. But he's saying here that my cure is of little use on dead flesh, which is possibly alluding to maybe like there's a like certain period of like time where whatever entity of like the human soul still stays with the body or something like that. There's something implying here that once a body is dead and once a body is fully dead, there is no use of bringing them back. Yes, I know. Yeah, he said he doesn't kill, but the documentation of what the Foundation researchers have said says that he does kill. So to like the average, I guess, scientist in this definition, based on the autopsies, is that they're dead, you know. But in the instance where he killed the prisoner and then like brought him back to life, like the prisoner was killed, like he was dead, right? But like SCP-049 doesn't think that he killed him. However, when a corpse is brought in, it is different. So his method of quote-unquote killing doesn't seem to actually be defined as death to him. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, but he still needs to reanimate them in order for them to be moving again, as to be the creature, right? The SCP-0492 creature, right? But it's a very interesting definition because he's saying that dead bodies don't matter. Dead bodies are dead. Like, bodies that have died of other causes, they're dead. They're of no use to him. The cure is of little use on the dead bodies, right? And so that's a very interesting definition of like, it has to be him that kills them. It has to be him for whatever reason. Or I guess, quote unquote, air quotes, kills them. What is this? Going home. Whoa, what is this? He felt it. He as in SCP-049. Okay. All right, let's see. Move this a little bit. Is that good, chat? Can you guys see that? Let me close out some tabs. Got a lot of... Give me 1 second. This seems kind of new. I think this might be new. I mean, if it's true that like this whole universe is open source and anyone can add on to this, like this might be new material that was added on later on, you know? I'm rather quiet. Oh, am I? Chat, am I quiet? You guys need me to butt myself up? I think you're fine? Alright, great. Lovely. I'm an SCP fan. I am now. I mean, like, I don't know why I never got into this. I think it was just too ooky spooky for me before, but I'm facing my fears. I'm looking into it. I'm really liking it, actually. Like, this one isn't as spooky. I've heard there are a lot more spookier ones, but I love this concept of like this, like, open source narrative driven world building thing where anyone can add to the world. I think it's so beautiful. I think it's so cool. Like this is really, really awesome. But I myself never got into SCPs until today, so. All right, let's read this one. He felt it, the unmistakable sensation of the pestilence. It was impossibly small, but unimaginably intense, like a needle in his eye. It was faint but pungent, as though the disease had been festering undisturbed in containment for so long that miasma, had built and wafted out, enough for him to taste the scant particles of tainted air. He had lost track of time in his cell. Doctors had used to come and bring him specimens to study, to perfect his methods. That had ended long, long ago, and the doctors had realized that they themselves weren't free from the disease. After all that, they had still checked up on him. The voice would come out of his walls and ask him questions about what he was doing and how he was feeling, or if he had any regrets for what he had done. Regrets. The thought was as foolish as any he had ever heard. Still, even that too had faded in time. The voices long ago had stopped, and he had been content to rest in this pristine cell, away from the wretched disease, alone with his thoughts. In the constant soft white light that bathed his cell, the doctor reclined himself on a comfortable mattress. Eventually, perhaps, he would have stopped thinking. But that had been before that familiar, detestable presence had returned, burning at his mind. He found himself standing before the cell to his door to his cell. I have dyslexia, studying it. It had no handle, opened when his captors ordered it. When the lights had remained unfunctional, the electromagnetic lock had not. His bag contained steel tools, and he did not understand how to relent. It took a tremendous amount of doing, but he got it open a crack, wide enough to put his weight onto it. He didn't know how long it took to widen it enough to pass through. He didn't really register the passage of time anymore. Then he was in a hallway, well lit, and devoid of any other life, all the easier to navigate. He followed the stinging sensation of the disease, navigating the corridors as though he'd drawn up the floor plan. The lights were all functional, all of the other containment chambers still sealed. But at last he found it, behind a locked door, within a locked metal locker. His containment cell door had been made of much sterner stuff. In short order, the door had lay twisted at his feet. He pulled a rectangular metal box from the locker, studying it intently. His finger found a button, pressed it, and the box's lid swung open. Super cooled, preserved gases ASL moment. ASL moment. ESL moment. Dyslexia moment. The fuck? Mingled. Mingled. That's a hard word to say. Mingled with the air outside the box for the first time in a long, long time. He might as well have been struck in the face. Vapor, colder than ice, wafted in a gray cloud from the unsealed box. Is it wafted or wafted? What's your first language? Chinese. I speak Mandarin. Wafted? 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 Wafted. He dropped it to the floor with a clatter, which echoed through the silent facility. He steeled himself, kneeling down, lifting the face-down box aside, and gingerly plucked the tiny black speck from beneath it with his index finger and thumb. Beneath his mask, he grit his teeth and held the mosquito up to his eye. Mosquito? It wasn't the insect. It was the sack of blood which the creature had engorged on. The upturned metal box became his operating table, black bag slamming unceremoniously to the ground. His hand dove inside, withdrawing an empty brass syringe and a vial of thick, black fluid. The needle plunged through a cork stopper, filling the glass cylinder halfway with a viscous pitch. The needle withdrew, then pierced the engorged mosquito's body, withdrawing the plague blood within it to mix it with the black medicine in his syringe. He left the insect's dry husk on the box, bringing the syringe level to his eyes. He shook it, tapping the glass with his finger to encourage reaction. He considered the dead husk of the insect before him. It wouldn't do to let any lingering trace of the pestilence remain in the poor creature. When he was satisfied with the mixture, the needle found the insect's blood sac again, filling its tiny body with the cold black mixture. Whoa, what the heck? The insect's body twitched and jerked to life as the black fluid filled it. The body's movement built up a tiny electric charge, enough to reboot the silicone microprocessors in a bug's brain. Who the heck is Leslie? This is another SCP. What the heck? Interesting. Leslie is the mosquito, I'm guessing then. Proboscis on human subject. It seems like Leslie is the mosquito. Leslie's eyes were the first organ she remembered how to interpret. She should be in the living room. That's where she'd gone, but this wasn't Merle's living room. The blurred figure she saw, it couldn't be Merle. I have a moment to do a very funny joke here. Because she's a mosquito. She weakly asked at length. The clarifying black blur shifted, coming more clearly into focus. Where is Merle? Oh, God. There's no one here but me and you. The black form shifted and came closer, until white filled Leslie's vision. She made out the icy gray eyes observing her. Oh God, where am I? You were in a prison. Though the wardens, it seems, have left. A prison? Leslie staggered to stand on her 6 legs, wings slowly returning to life to beat weakly. What kind of prison? Her voice cut off as the GPS locator cut on. Oh God, I'm at Site 19! Is this what this place is called? Odd, after all this time, that I would learn this prison's name from a mosquito. I need to get back to Merle. I don't know where or who Merle is. I know where he lives. I can find it. The weight of her situation began to dawn on her. She was several hundred miles from Merle's house, in the middle of Site 19, with an anomaly she knew nothing about. Still, at least it wasn't some monster trying to kill her. I don't know how I could have ever gotten out of here. The doctor stood up, brought one hand to curl slowly before his eyes. I have gotten this far, and now that I have no further reason to stay here. Then, will you help me get out of here? Leslie's wings bore her up to land on the black-gloved hand. I will. I can't thank you enough. Thank you, Leslie gathered herself, seizing her trembly. My name is Leslie. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor. The wind blasted the landscape mercilessly. I can't read. As it had every day. At least today there was no astringent rain. Thick, gray-black clouds rolled overhead. The pair had walked for nearly a week and had not yet encountered a single living person. The few animals they had seen were sick, mangy things. Leslie felt the sky weigh down on her like a dark, gray iron blanket. She was having a hard time remembering what the sun looked like. She was afraid she might start to forget Merle's face. "We're close," she said, to break the monotony. "Just a few more miles, and then... She didn't dare finish the thought. The sound of the doctor's feet crunching through the parched landscape was barely audible over the rush of wind. "And then we will arrive," he finished for her. "Tell me, Doctor, why did you come all this way with me? You could have left when we got out, gone your own way." "Merely because I wanted to." "Thank you, Doctor." Leslie didn't know what to do when they arrived at Merle's house. The barren streets howled with wind, but Leslie could only hear the wails of damnation. The lights were off, the door hung open. No one had been here in decades. They went inside. The familiar living room would have made her retch if she was physically able. Merle wasn't here. "How long?" Leslie asked after they had stood in silence in the room where she had died. The question wasn't directed at her companion. She checked the clock on her internal positioning system. "How long?" he repeated, unsure. 200. I've been dead for 200 years? She wailed, collapsing in the palm of the doctor's hands. Then Merle is dead. So it appears. Everyone is dead, she said, seemingly unable to grapple with the fact. Seemingly able to grapple finally with the fact. Everyone and Merle and Merle. She repeated to herself until the words lost meaning to her. The doctor sat on the frayed, ragged carpet, resting his back against the wall. The hand in which Leslie mourned held out before him. He asked, "Where will you go now?" He lived here. He lived here, so now I will live here. It will just be like it was. She couldn't continue and fell to her side, against the rough but comforting letter. She had no tears, but her sobs racked her nonetheless. Any minute now, and Merle will come through the door. Then I will wait for him, here with you. Good shit, man. Doesn't really give me too much context for SCP-049, but this sounds like a shipping story. Yeah, this does. This do be sounding like a shipping story. I ship Leslie in 049. Yeah, I ship it. I ship it. Yeah, I especially with this last line, he's like, if no one got you, I got you. You make a great audiobook, VA. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for the super. I used to do Pillow Talk audios. Some dark history of my past. Back when I was in college and I needed to make some money, I used to do Pillow Talk audio commissions. So I got a little bit of experience with this. A little bit of experience. Man. Cool stuff. I guess that's all we have on the Plague Doctor, huh? Pillow Talk audios are like... They're basically ASMR, but no visuals, and it's like all pre-recorded. It's scripted. Nah, I didn't do any lewd ones. I've never really been into lewd audios. It is not my thing. No shame for those who do like doing them, and it is their thing. That was cool. I enjoyed that. Wow. Which was the one that Poco suggested? I'm gonna have the back read. It's in my chat somewhere. The Discord chat saves all talent messages, so. What was the one that people really wanted me to read? What was it called? It was called Here Be Dragons. I think we have time for one more. (1762). Yeah, I heard this is oh, sorry, flashbang. I heard this was a sad one. I do be liking sad stories, though. I do be liking sad stories. Alright, let's get started. 17621 is held in a standard containment unit at site... Oh, redacted. During the period which SCP-1762 releases SCP-17622. Oh, interesting. There's multiple of them. Video logs are to be recorded for further research. Although instances of 17622 have been deemed harmless, they should not be allowed to exit their containment unit. 17621 is a plain cardboard box that is 32 centimeters, 20 centimeters, and 26 centimeters by dimension. It is spray painted silver on the interior and exterior with the words "Here Be Dragons" are written in handwriting in black permanent marker on the lid of the container. Opening the lid of SCP-17621 when it is not in the process of a release reveals it to be empty. Process of a release, interesting. 17621 will infrequently open and initiate the release of 17622. During this time, the box will briefly emit a large amount of black smoke that quickly dissipates. It takes an average of 20 seconds for 17622 to emerge after the smoke clears. 17622 is the collective term applied to the beings that emerge from 17621. All instances of 17622 bear resemblance to various types of dragons, both in Eastern and Western depictions, albeit in forms similar to that of origami models. Analysis of 17622 reveals that they are composed of kami paper. After exiting 17621, instances of 17622 will fly together in large groups and interact playfully with any nearby personnel and of each other. 17622 vary in length from 90 to 30 centimeters and are all capable of sustained flight once they exit 17621, have been recorded attaining speeds of 15 wow, that's pretty fast. Damn, they're fast as fuck. The number of 17622 varies with each opening of 17621, with numbers ranging from 50 to over 400. Jesus Christ. 400 is crazy. After approximately 2 to 3 hours of time spent outside of 17621, all instances of 17622 return and fly back into SCP-17621. During this time, SCP-17621 will once again begin to emanate smoke. And instances of SCP-17622 will vanish after passing the rim of SCP-17621. 17621 closes once all SCP-17622 have returned to it. The next date of release is inconsistent. The message written or carved into the varying material will sometimes materialize on top of 17621's lid once the box retrieves all instances of 17622. Attempts to send a message or recording device back with 17622 have provided negative results. These documents and their appropriate dates of appearance are being compiled and recorded. On redacted date, SCP-17621 began to undergo a series of events that lasted 11 months and 28 days. These events, as well as prior incidents that have led to the beginning of the scenario, have now been classified under the title of the Jabberwocky event. Interesting. This is giving very a little bit like found family type deal vibes, if that makes sense. Like I'm really feeling like the motherly connections in this one. All right, let's see. Redacted date. This is the first recorded instance of 17621 opening while at site. Redacted.
You have found us. Thank you. It has been so long since we last saw each other, friends. The peace has been upheld. The giants and the behemoths have kept their word and have not caused any trouble since you last came and gave the order. We missed your company. How has your family been? Do you still know how to work your room? You are welcome to visit anytime.
Document 17624. Redacted date.
It is strange to see how much your world has changed. It is even stranger to see how we may now appear in this place. In fantasy, we are much bigger. Or maybe perhaps you've grown taller. Fantasy is still the same. We hope you can visit us like you used to. Though our room is as grand as ever, it appears yours has shrunken. We do not understand. The rooms were supposed to be maintained as per our agreement. Please restore the belief.
Yeah, this is giving childhood trauma vibes right now. The sixth entry. Only 20 instances of SCP-17622 appeared during this event. Said instances did not lift off and instead walked slowly on foot for the whole period they were out.
Friends, we apologize for our few numbers. We have had to remain in fantasy for quite some time. The others are growing impatient. We are trying to keep the peace, but please, for all of our happiness, please repair the room quickly. We know you are trying. Your family is the most imaginative of us all.
Document 14. Along with 10 instances of SCP-17622 appearing, 3 balls of yellow crumpled construction paper were expelled from SCP-17621. These pieces were observed to shake violently for 5 seconds, then ceased all further movement. They were picked up by SCP-17622 and returned to SCP-17621.
The giants were foolish. Your room was not ready to accept them yet. We're sorry, friends. We hope that we can still see you, but time is growing short for our happiness.
Document 15. 5 instances of SCP-1762 emerged, carrying said document. They immediately returned to SCP-17621 after depositing it on the floor.
Tensions are rising. Fantasy is becoming darker. We, the serpents and the hybrids, are furiously trying to hold them back, but the giants and the elves wish to strike and make an entrance. They say that your family has grown stupid and ignorant. We hope this is untrue. It would sadden us all greatly to know that you have forgotten.
Document 16. A single red instance of SCP-17622 emerged from SCP-17621. Its wings were torn, and it was noticeably crumpled. It collapsed onto the floor 1 minute later, and did not move again. Upon its expiration, the body of SCP-1622 rapidly unfolded and revealed a message written on the white side of the paper.
War. Goodbye, friends.
2 hours later, SCP-17621 opened and emitted flames that reached 2 meters in height, the temperatures of 1,700 Celsius. Sounds of distant roaring were heard from within SCP-17621. At 20 hours, a large amount of torn paper pieces and paper balls were ejected from SCP-1762. Several damaged SCP-17622s were also expelled and were deemed deceased upon examination. SCP-17621 continued to sporadically open and close for the next 6 weeks. During this time, it continued to emit fire as the amount of paper discharged from it steadily decreased. Matter resembling muscle and tissue was continuously expelled from SCP-17621 at increasing frequency. SCP-17621 remained closed and inactive for the next 7 months. Document 17. This document was discovered lying inside the interior of SCP-17621. It was written on parchment and many of the words had been blurred or stained with blood.
Are you still out there, friends? We miss you dearly. Fantasy is no longer safe. Our haven, your beautiful creation, is gone. The giants are dead. The centaurs are dead. The birds have fled. We are going to bury your room. We cannot risk hurting you. This is our goodbye. Maybe one day, your family can build another room. This may be a hollow hope, but we will cherish this thought.
1 hour later, SCP-17621 began to shake and emit smoke for 15 minutes, after which it began to sag and collapse. Several portions of the box began to char and tear, creating small burnt holes throughout. The words, "Here be dragons," on the lid of the box were burnt away. Document 18. This is the final message obtained from SCP-17621. It was written in ink on a papyrus scroll, and also depicted a scene of a painted, mountainous landscape filled with large trees and waterfalls. A single winged dragon can be seen in the background. It appears to be flying away. The message is written in black ink in the bottom right-hand corner.
Master says we won't see you again. We are sad. So are the remaining others. We once filled each other's head with dreams and goals. It is so sad that we cannot share them any longer. Master says we have to go. He says he will make us a new fantasy. He says you cannot be a part of it. We are sad. We love you. And we will not forget you. We are scared. Will you forget us?
Upon the removal of 17621, salt water began to leak from 17621, and the burn marks that covered the container began to disappear. 3 minutes later, 17621 had been restored to its original state. The words, "Here be dragons," were replaced with the words, "Here were dragons." The Jabberwocky event is declared concluded with this occurrence. Addendum 3. Since the end of the Jabberwocky event, 17621 has shown no further anomalous properties and has been declared neutralized. 17621 and 3 deceased instances of 17622 now reside in researcher Yoshihiro Takenaka's office for commemorative purposes. Man. I wonder who was the owner of the box. I wonder who the original room belonged to. Yeah, great story. That was really good. That was really good. A very classic A very classic coming of age forget story. After nearly 8 years of inactivity, Research Takanaka reported SCP-1621 began emitting purple smoke and spontaneously opened at 23 hours, falling to the floor. It dislodged a single chunk of crystal, later identified as amethyst, in a large leather-bound book. The contents of this book appear to detail various species that once lived in the world of SCP-1762. Though, from what the author has written, all organisms mentioned are likely extinct. The book is now classified as 1762 Bull 1. The amethyst crystal had the following words carved onto it: "One last time." After falling, SCP-1762 continuously emitted smoke for the next 40 minutes, before ceasing all activity. Upon trying to pick up SCP-17621, Tanaka reported that the box proceeded to disintegrate upon touching it. Its remains are now kept in a containment capsule in his office. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, not much to say about this one. It's a pretty clear loss of childhood story. Loss of childhood, loss of imagination. Oh, this is cool. Whoa, what the heck? Oh, this is sick. This is like a whole world building thing. Oh, this one's really cool. Wow. Beasts of the Old Letters. You hold in your hands the paper keys, the keys that can unlock fantasy. When I first discovered this wondrous land, I could scarcely believe everything before me. The spiraling and floating mountains that reached so high that the rings of cloud were still below them. The great waterfalls that sprayed down from the ancient rivers that flowed through forests with trees wise and full of knowledge. The oceans with their golden beaches and cool, lapping waves that never roared and never stormed. And the life within, such unique and wonderful creatures that walked through this fantastic world. It took me years for me to gaze upon all of them. Who knows? I may have more to see. I can't see them anymore, though. The land is now barren and cold. So empty and sad that even the icy ridge that lines the northern forests would offer more warmth. Everything has vanished. All the wonder gone, all the vibrant, amazing things that this world once had to offer disappeared. I still wonder where they went. I doubt I will ever know. All I do know is that I have my books, my stories, and the memories that are already beginning to fade away as I grow aged and alone in an old man's mind that still believes a long-lasting fantasy may return. I don't think I'll live to see them come back. But I leave these stories to whomever finds them, so that they can know that they did exist. I see. I wonder if the original owner of the box passed away. That's why they were like saying that they had to make a new fantasy. Because the original creator of that fantasy was no longer alive. There's a working theory that the box resembles mystery. So the more the Foundation tries to learn about the box, they inadvertently cause the vent to... Oh. Interesting. Actually, why do they call it the Jabberwocky event? Does Jabberwocky have some sort of literature contextualization? I know it's a nonsense poem that like Lewis Carroll wrote, but Alice in Wonderland. I've never read Alice in Wonderland. The actual definition of Jabberwocky is invented or meaningless language, nonsense. Interesting. Yours has shrunken. We do not understand. Yeah, I mean, like, the working theory of the box being mystery and the scientists, you know, like, looking more into it, destroying the mystery, I think is valid, but the war thing is very interesting to me. I think, okay, this is kind of what I'm thinking right now. This is what I'm kind of thinking right now. They say here that the giants and behemoths have kept their word and have not caused any trouble since you last came and gave the order. And then they say the giants were foolish. Your room was not ready to accept them yet. I have a feeling that there's not only a loss of childhood here, but there's also a gain of trauma. I think there's this feeling of almost like originally they were all fantastical, peaceful creatures, you know, there were all these like, you know, things that were like, you know, just compelling to a young child's eye. And then as they grew up, giants started appearing. Giants could be parents. Behemoths could be parents, you know? Because when you're a child, all adults are scary. Exactly, yeah. All adults are scary. They're giants to you. The giants were foolish. Your room was not ready to accept them yet, connotating maybe some sort of family trauma that happened with this person. I think there's also an aspect of the others are growing impatient, whereas the dragons have always been patient with the viewer as per se. And there's this idea of, oh, you have a room where we can all come in and we can all explore and be happy together. And I think like that's where the childhood like experience really stems from, right? Where it's like, oh, the room is the childhood. It was the room where you felt safe in, the room where everything was okay. It seemed endless to you because that's all you knew. You were a child, you know? There's that whole thing about like, you know, we were talking about it the other day actually, about how if humans were never given free will, would they desire free will? You know what I mean? If you only know what's inside your room, you never have any desire for anything further from that. That is your world, you know? Like that is your world. So I think when they say yours has shrunken, it's because the world is so huge that we don't have our world anymore, right? Like when you experience so many more things in life and you go outside of your room, the world is so expansive that you feel tiny. Your world is no longer everything that you know. There's so many uncertainties. There's so many unsafe things. There's so many things that, you know, could hurt you. Which is why their world has shrunken. Whereas before, the world, aka their room, was grand as ever, right? I have a feeling that's what the analogy is. Because war is a very very interesting, like, connotation. You know what I mean? Like, it could have been that they just, like, there could have been a connotation of, like, oh, they got impatient and left, you know? But it wasn't just that. There was tension in this world. That there was something going on that caused entities to turn away from each other. I think that's very compelling. Yeah, like fighting parents, trauma, abuse, you know, like anything. Could be anything. I do think these are really cool, though. I'm not gonna fully read through these because it seems like it's just like almost descriptors, but I want to read the last paragraph because it seems like the last paragraph seems to give like the connotation of what he experienced. I had a great privilege of staying in at Alafox Nest myself after many years of exploring a soft needle forest. They built on the ground nearly as wide as the dinner table, interlaced with the branches of thorny ivy to keep predators away from the chicks. Of course, I could only marvel at a few precious minutes before the parents returned and proceeded to fiercely chase me away for a good quarter of a mile before they turned back to their eggs. Nonetheless, I felt a great deal of happiness knowing I witnessed such a rare sight with my own eyes. Whoa, that looks creepy. Black Rock Forest. Charm Chargers. Oh, there's so many entries. There's so many entries. The gut-wrenching part of the wording is when it changes from here be dragons to here were dragons. It shows a fantasy world that made a promise and says it will never be fulfilled again. Yeah. I mean, like, end of the day, like, we don't know what happened to the original owner of this fantasy box. Like, don't know if this was something that, like, you know, something that he willingly gave up or something that he was unable to, you know, control. I do really like how world building this feels, though. It seems like there's, like, the more you get down into these, the more creepy it gets. There's almost like this gradual... You see what I mean? It feels like almost there's this gradual, like... There's this gradual darkness in these entities. Which SCP is this? This is, I forgot what it was called. 1761? (1762), thank you. A fitting yet bitter sense. Last entry in the storybook. They were the last creatures of the fantastic land at the end of the war, the first to die out in the new beginning. It was not until the third awakening of lightning-struck Titan that Zillaras were seen again. The Mafroth storm returned with terrifying ferocity. Oh, it's documenting the war. I see, I see. Less than 3 decades ago, the Great War began. And all the Zillaras had at, or ever would create, were destroyed in the calamity that followed. Once again, the Maker came, but this time his eyes only held grief. His eyes only held grief as he was forced to smite those who had fanned the flames of destruction. As surviving others fled out the fantastic lands, the Zuralasps laid behind silent as stones of their cities. As the stones of their cities. Within these ruins they remain, turned to stone as the sun set for the final time and the world turned cold. Oh, jeez. But in this entry, it states that the Maker came. I guess the Maker is different from the original person? Nothing is canon and everything is. I love that. Interesting. Damn, yeah, it gets real dark. Yeah, cause in the original one, they don't say the Maker, but at the very end they say Master says. There's a couple of different terminologies being thrown around here. I'm not sure if they're the same person. This is a good one though. I like this one. Very metaphorical. Very good. I enjoyed it. You assume Master is leader of the dragons. I see, I see. That would make sense, yeah. Yeah, there's something very sad about this last entry here. His eyes only held grief as he was forced to smite those that fanned the flames of destruction. Giving me like Toy Story vibes where he was forced to like get rid of his toys when he went off to college. Yeah, there's like a feeling of like he didn't want to do this, but it's become so convoluted and dark that he has to kind of feeling, you know? Yeah, it's like I didn't read through all of this, but it almost feels like this creature that was made was this like last failed attempt to hold on to some sort of childhood. Because this thing of like they desperately tried to bring back peace, but no avail. So they fell into despair. So this creature or this toy or this fantasy specimen that he like thought up, the Maker thought up, was like almost a last ditch effort type feeling. Man, sad story. Fuck, dude. I think reading through all of these would be fun at some point. All of these entries here. You think he took them out to save them? I don't think so. I think it was a matter of not having a choice. I mean, like, if we look at it in terms of the overall context of this SCP, it's very much so about, like, growing up and exiting your bubble. And realizing that the world is not as pretty or beautiful or fun as you once thought when you were little, right? Like, the overall context of this SCP, end of the day, is that whole dynamic of, like, losing your childhood and coming to terms with reality. So I think it was less of a he wanted to save them and more of a he didn't have a choice. I think you're misunderstanding the situation. The Master had been gone a long time, way before the SCP got the box. Oh, no, I'm not. I do understand that. I do understand that. What I'm saying is that, like, the book that was released was obviously written by someone. And what I'm saying is that before the box was I guess, like, given up. There's that feeling of, okay, so what I mean more so is, like, I don't think this master person, right, is the person who owned the box. It's almost like an XP of the person who owned the box who still resides, or sorry, the maker person. This XP of the person who still resides in that box. Because, like, person who owns the box, probably long gone. But there was still someone documenting everything that resulted in that book. So it feels like almost like there was an XP. Like the maker was an XP in that world. You know what I mean? Still, very, very cool. I like this one a lot. All right. I do have my meeting very soon, so I will be heading off. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bit of a chiller stream today, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed the more spooky vibes. I think we might do some more stuff like this for members. We can do like an SCP members reading type deal of stream. Hope you do more SCP. Yeah, I think we'll only do it for members. I don't think it's gonna be really fitting into my main content too much. But my member stream content seems to be leaning towards the side of more voice-focused content. So I think we'll probably do those for member streams. But I hope you enjoyed the spooks. Whoa there. Whoa there, buddy. Ryuk, thank you so much for the member. Appreciate it, appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Members only content. Yeah, members only content. Any ideas on what could be read next? I mean, I got so many suggestions, dude. I got so many suggestions when I was asking for SCP Rex. I'm sure we can find some. I'm positive we can find some. Yeah, we got content for ages regarding that, dude. Yeah, Reddit has so many recs. I know you guys have so many recs. Dude, I had so many recommended to me just in the Discord. There was SCP-1357, 1808, 1762, 3008, 682, 2875, 448, 999, 1471, 2901, 2456, 3092. There's a lot of them. There's so many of them. SCP video soon? Probably not. Like I said, this really isn't like my main form of content. I'm going for more hype, you know? More like, yeah, we up in this bitch type deal, you know? But I think for members content, we'll probably do a little bit more stuff like this. Because it's a bit more chilled out, and I think it's still pretty fun. Like, I really like theory crafting, and I really like narrative stuff. This is really cool. All this stuff is really cool. But yeah, I think we are gonna call it here for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed the spooks. Happy Halloween. If you are not celebrating, happy spooks. We do have our murder mystery event tomorrow, so make sure you don't miss that. It's gonna be on all the WILDFYRE channels, maybe not Riki's because she got hit by a car today. Please send her well wishes. She might not be able to make it, but we will figure it out. We will figure it out. We will plan and we will figure it out. She's fine. She was mildly injured, but she's okay right now. She's getting help from her parents. She is thinking about going to the hospital tomorrow, so please wish her well. Please wish her a good recovery. We may have to do the murder mystery without her tomorrow because of that, but if so, all's good. You know, we'll figure it out. Yeah, please make sure to wish Ricky well. Girl has not had a good day. We're gonna go ahead and raid Cersei. I don't know if she's gonna be going on for too much longer. Because I think we have a meeting at 9. In like an hour-ish. But in any case, I will catch you guys later. Have a wonderful rest of your night. And I will see you guys tomorrow for some Turnip Boy. No, I lied. Friday. That's Friday, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's the murder mystery event. Sorry, got my times mixed up. Alright guys, take care. Bye na. Bye chat. Bye everyone.